Well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will reach the United States today for the first Quad in-person meet with Australia, Japan and the United States. Prime Minister Modi is scheduled to also address the UN General Assembly in New York post the Quad meet. The US visit will mark Prime Minister Modi's first foreign tour in 6 months and will also be the first time he will be visiting the country after President Joe Biden assumed office. More details that we're picking up from the ME and this video that they've released as well.
Well, as I see it, there are two very important aspects to this visit of Prime Minister Narendra Modi to the United States. One is the issue of terrorism. The other is the issue of expansionism. Why I say that? A, because after the exit of the United States from Afghanistan, the region has become unstable. It's potentially a hotbed for terror organizations to use the soil from Afghanistan and spread terror in its neighborhood and beyond. So that's something which has to be discussed in the context of the manner in which Pakistan, for example, continues to back Taliban regime, which has not been recognized by anyone, and acts as a conduit between China and Taliban, creating a nexus which is an area of concern for not just India, for other nations as well. The second aspect of expansionism, of course, the manner in which China has behaved rather recklessly for some time now, the manner in which they behaved with us vis-a-vis Ladakh, the manner in which they have behaved with Australia, and really rode roughshod in their bilateral relationship, and the manner in which they have conducted themselves vis-a-vis Philippines, Indonesia, and Japan. All that is something which is an area of concern for all these world leaders, and that's why Quad gains importance. Prime Minister has given an outline of what he thinks of Indo-Pacific and Quad in his Shangri-La dialogue address in 2018, and perhaps he'll take it forward from there in terms of open seas, rule-based order, and how every nation should be behaving, particularly in Southeast Asia and the extended Indo-Pacific. So Quad between India, United States, Australia and Japan becomes important for that, and Prime Minister, of course, would be making his contributions and sharing his thoughts on both terrorism and expansionism, be it here in Washington, D.C. during his bilaterals and the Quad, or at the UNGA when he makes that very important address. Okay, so we are here at the US Capitol, and we met somebody who got interested in knowing that Prime Minister of India is traveling to the United States. He's an attorney from Kentucky, right?
Kentucky, that's right.
Kentucky. And can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Jay Matheny. I'm an attorney. I practice law in Paducah, Kentucky. We are here from Paducah, Kentucky with a delegation, a group called the Paducah Area Chamber of Commerce. Right. We are here to meet with our elected officials about funding for various projects in Western Kentucky.
All right. So Prime Minister Narendra Modi from India is traveling to the United States, to Washington, D.C. He's going to have a bilateral with President Biden, and they're going to discuss China during Quad Summit. So you have some views on that?
Yeah, I mean, so first of all, it's always exciting when we have a foreign head of state in the United States. We're always glad to have our friends and visitors from around the world here. So I think the China issue is kind of interesting for folks from India, and I would say that because, you know, India and China are practically neighbors, you know, but I think the United States and India have quite a few interests that are similar in nature, you know, both English-speaking democracies, exactly. And so I think relations between India and China are probably a lot like relations between India and the United States. You know, we have a relationship. Obviously, we have a significant amount of trade with China, as does India, I'm sure. But, you know, it's kind of an interesting thing. We're walking a line. We're sort of tiptoeing around some issues because China has, we actually, you know, we have to say this, we have some concerns about China and foreign relations, and not only that, but also China's record on human rights. And so when it comes to China, we have a relationship with China. We have to continue that relationship, but we also have to be mindful of the fact that, you know, we've got some issues with China.
Like what they're doing in the Indo-Pacific with the open seas.
Exactly, and China's record on Hong Kong has kind of been controversial, as with China's relationship with Taiwan over the course of time. So,
Also, you think the manner in which the United States withdrew from Afghanistan, is that something which is discussed here as something which could have been done differently?
well, I think, certainly today we didn't talk about that as a delegation a whole lot, but I would say this. I think everyone would agree, and certainly I think a lot of Americans would agree, that the withdrawal from Afghanistan was kind of a tricky situation. I mean, certainly I don't know that we had all of our ducks in a row, so to speak, before we had that withdrawal from Afghanistan. But, again, I think that at the end of the day, we have to be mindful of the fact that as Americans, we have to, I don't think we could stay there forever. I think that when we had to withdraw.
It could have been done differently?
I think it could have been done a little bit differently. We could have done a little more strategic planning before we withdrew from Afghanistan. Now, I'm no military expert, so I don't know exactly what that would have entailed, but I think certainly there were security concerns, especially for people left behind, especially for Americans left behind, and our allies who were left behind in Afghanistan as well.